If you could please state your name and where were you born?
Hi, my name is Zipaktli, aka the Alligator, and I was born in Mexico.
And how long have you been here in the United States?
For 25 years.
Why did you come here to the United States?
My mom, she actually, my dad and her split up, and she thought that she had a better chance of providing for me here in California than staying in Mexico, so we just ended up coming over here.
And in Boyle Heights, how long have you lived there?
Or
when did you start living there?
Start living here? I want to say I've lived around here a couple times, but probably about probably over 7 years ago that living around here, and probably about 10 doing community work around here and just going to shows around here, things like that. Working with the community.
And how did you end up in Boyle Heights?
Boyle Heights, well, I remember we were looking for housing, and at the time, about 8 years ago, it was the most affordable option for us at the time. And so we ended up just finding a place here. Yeah, we got actually a pretty good deal the first time around, and we lived there for a few years.
And you also work in Boyle Heights, right?
Yes, I do.
And what do you work doing?
I work in a community-based organization. I work in a community-based organization, and we work to provide services for folks that are in reentry, or sometimes even folks that are incarcerated still, youth, young adults, families. So we do our best to provide the services that are available from the county and from the state. And I'm the case manager for a tattoo removal program here in the area that also provides services for folks that are coming out of incarceration or that have tattoos related to traumatic events, toxic relationships, traumatic relationships or events, also gang-related tattoos.
And how long have you been working?
There, I'm going on 4 years.
And what other jobs have you done in Boyle Heights area?
Boyle Heights, mainly customer service, cashiering. Before I did community, well, I was doing volunteer work in the community, but yeah, as far as work, definitely customer service, mostly food.
And what kind of volunteer work did you do in Boyle Heights?
Well, working with moms and babies again, and then with youth, teaching self-defense, doing art workshops, jewelry workshops, things like that, mental health workshops as well.
And what are your favorite places in Boyle Heights?
My favorite place definitely has to be Ascot Hills. I think there's a falcon flying up there. Oh, see, he's right there. So that's why I like coming here, because there's always falcons, and I've seen all kinds of animals here. Coyotes, I've even seen a bobcat here before. Yeah, so I like coming here because you get a nice view of the city, and then you have this nice breeze, you have all the trees, all the green, and then you can always see an animal, like, guarantee you'll see an animal. I'll see snakes here, also now there's 2 of them. So yeah, this is my favorite place for sure.
What are your favorite events in Boyle Heights?
My favorite events? The farmers market that they used to have by Mariachi Plaza. I really like that. I like that they had good food and produce, and sometimes music too.
And from like the music in Boyle Heights, what is your favorite music?
Favorite music? Well, there's like
Or musicians?
musicians. I think the hip hop that's coming out of here is really, really cool. And there's also different musicians, you know, creating different sounds, kind of mixing it up a little bit. The one thing that comes to mind is, oh man, I don't want to butcher the name. It's eclectic sound experiment, I think. Eclectic. So I like them. You know, they have like, it's like a good hip hop flow kind of, but they have, you know, a lot of influences, maybe like cumbia, or, you know, maybe like rock or pop or hip hop, of course. So yeah, I gotta look up the name, but eclectic for sure.
Okay. And what are some sounds that are memorable in Boyle Heights? It could be other sounds, but not just music, but what sounds do you find memorable from there?
From Boyle Heights, memorable sounds, I think the sirens all the time. The sirens, the choppers, yeah, whether it's cop or ambulance. I remember when my mom first came to visit, when we moved over here, she was tripped out, like she couldn't believe how often, you know. And then we lived pretty close to the hospital too. So they were kind of like going up and down all day, but then you also hear the helicopter and, you know, loud music, of course. You know, people like to cruise in their cars bumping, you know, and I think that's about it. Yeah, yeah.
And then music-wise, what kind of music do you do?
Well, I do lyrical hip hop. Yeah.
And what was your influence to do that music?
My influence? Well, I think it kind of all started like a lot of us just listening to, you know, Tupac and Biggie, you know, like they were really good storytellers and they really conveyed an emotion, and they really, I know they had a way with words that could really paint a picture, you know, lyrically. And even though there was other artists, you know, like Snoop, and like just those were the first people that I heard. So from me hearing them at first and realizing how somebody can use words to tell a story and still have rhythm and still, you know, be gangsta and real. Like, I think that was for sure my first influences, but I learned from a lot of artists from different genres too.
And what got you to even start doing music?
Well, I remember just always liking music. You know, it's really funny because my dad is the type of person that has music on like all the time, has a big collection, you know. And my mom's the type of person that can drive like a 4-hour road trip in total silence, you know. So just, I think, picking up a lot of the things that my dad would play, and just picked it up from there, you know, then kind of getting into the radio and picking up a little bit from there. And also writing poetry. Like, I remember my dad, he showed me like a little suitcase that he had full of poems. And I hate this mask. So he had a suitcase full of poems, and he showed me, and then I just kind of started writing poetry, and it just kind of seemed easy to me at the time, and I liked writing, you know. And then I just started trying to write over different songs, and that's kind of how I started practicing, just writing and trying it out, and then just kind of taking it from there.
And how long have you been doing music?
Music? Probably, well, let me see. It's got to be around 15, like, well, working on my lyricism about 20 years. I'm 35. And I remember being like 15, 16, like really thinking like, I really want to do this right, you know, and really putting thought into my rhymes and really doing my best to not just write whatever about whatever. So about 20 years working on my lyricism, legit doing music, probably 14, around there, or experimenting, you know.
how has Boyle Heights influenced your music, if anything?
Well, I think it influences me in just knowing the type of people that live here. You know, where a lot of times we're, you know, first, second generation, or what they call underserved, you know, underserved community. But we're really, you know, there's really a lot of beauty within us, and how we struggle and how we make the best of what we have, and how we always just keep pushing. And you know, all the realities of the best and worst things, like you can find them around here. You can find some of the best food, you can find some of the worst circumstances, you know, different things. But you know, the people here will always find a way. And I remember when I first started feeling like home in this community, I realized that there's a lot of people that really have their culture present, or they're really trying to walk the path of decolonizing. And with spaces like Corazón del Pueblo and just other different spaces that are in the area, I see that there's a place for us here, and we're creating, you know, we're creating those spaces for us that represent us and how we feel and what we go through.
And, you mentioned food, so I was wondering, what's your favorite food or restaurant in Boyle Heights?
Ooh, okay. My favorite restaurant in Boyle Heights has to be Birreria de Don Boni on 1st Street. And I'm not just saying that because I work there, but they have the best birria de chivo that I've ever had. And I know that they put so much care into what they do, and they're so clean and so on point with everything, you know, how they, just everything they do is old school, and they don't have too many things on the menu. They only have one thing on the menu, and they serve it in different ways. But I love going there. It's my favorite place. Other than that, I like the hot dogs, like the street hot dogs, I'm sorry. Here and there, not often. Every once in a blue moon, but.
Any memorable stories that you like to share about Boyle Heights?
Well, let's see. Memorable stories about Boyle Heights. Well, back in, what was it, like 2011, I believe, when we started the Warriors program. So Corazón del Pueblo was the Warriors Jiu-Jitsu program's first home. So I remember just having events there, you know, fundraising, and just really feeling like a part of the community at that point. Yeah, I remember that, and just how there was always events there, and I met a lot of good people there. I met, you know, some friends there. A lot of things happened in that, you know, in that time and space. But I just remember that era of, you know, being there and hosting programs and going to danza and things like that.
And what do you think Boyle Heights needs to work on, the community needs to work on to improve?
Being clean, you know, definitely. We need some sanitation services. They need to really be stepped up. And also the people have to just, you know, do our part. Because the thing is, I remember a couple years ago I did a workshop on this, and I think by 2014, I think here in Boyle Heights we had 14 times more people per square mile than anywhere in LA County. So we have so many people here, and there's obviously a lot of resources because there's people here, but yet it seems like nobody's taking care of the streets, nobody's taking care of, you know, they cut trees in summer when they need them, you know, like they do a lot of, well, things like that, cutting the trees when we need them, cutting trees that don't need to be cut. And we have really bad, oxygen quality, air quality. We have horrible air quality, and they chop down all the big old trees and they replace them with little tiny ficus trees that really don't do anything for anybody. They don't provide homes for the birds. They don't really, clean up as much air. They don't provide shades for pedestrians. And honestly, the streets stink most of the time. So that would be my first priority if I could. Definitely clean up the streets.
Yeah, for sure. And what do you think would be a good thing to add to the community?
Well, definitely more trash cans, trash cans. I think a lot of people don't know too that there are services that the city and the county offers. So maybe offering workshops for folks, or maybe a campaign with flyers, or place announcements where people can see them, about the services that they use. Because I know, working for the community-based organization that I work for, if there's a water leak anywhere, if there's trash piled up, if there's a dead animal on the road, you can actually call in or make a request with your phone. You don't even have to call. You can just download an app and use that to, request that people come and clean up and, take care of whatever needs to be taken care of. So I think definitely more information about the services that are available for people. And well, maybe more green spaces, more spaces that sell fresh food, good food. A lot of times, even at the little markets, honestly, the food looks kind of bad and it looks kind of old. And, we want to support those little markets, but the food that they sell is not up to par. So I think just better quality produce and food.
Would you like to share some music with us right now?
I wasn't ready for that. If anything, I could just share a song, sure. A native song. Ooh, you hear that? See, that's what I like coming over. Oh, look, he's right there. Ding. Wow. Here it comes right here. Boom. Nice. Yeah, that's a big relative too. All right, so I'll sing this song that I always sing. It's one of the few songs that I know. It's a Maya song, and I sing this to all the new babies that I go get to meet, and I've sang it to a few babies, and I love singing it to them. But I also like to offer it because it talks about the nature of being human, and it translates to as the flower buds, as the seed emerges and blossoms, in this way is born the human being. There's the two hawks right there. Nice. So this is for them. Yeah, I get it. Yeah, they're over here somewhere.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know where they went. I think they went that way. All right. Se ome ye. Hebishu to poneke. Hebishu ho kolyashe. Beyo hebishu sil. Beyo hebishu sil. Lewinike, oyum hunapku, oyum hunapku, oyum hunapku, oyum hunapku, oyum hunapku, oyum hunapku. Hebishu to polneke, hebishu ho kolyashe, beyo hebishu sil, beyo hebishu sil, lewinike, hebishu to polneke, hebishu ho kolyashe, beyo hebishu sil, beyo hebishu sil, lewinike, lewinike, oyum hunapku, oyum hunapku, oyum hunapku, oyum hunapku, oyum hunapku, oyum hunapku. Hebishu to polneke, hebishu ho kolyashe, beyo hebishu sin, beyo hebishu sil, lewinike, lewinike, oyum hunapku, oyum hunapku. I hope.
And thank you for that song. It was beautiful.
Thank you.
And I wanted to ask, what do your hip hop songs talk about? What are your stories that you share?
Well, let's see. They mainly talk about experiences that I've had, cathartic experiences. I think I kind of just I take from that experience and just turn it into a song. I have a song, for example, of going up to the river, and it does talk about being there, seeing what's there, feeling the energy and everything, but then at the end it comes back to talking about how I'm the river, I'm the river, I flow like nature. I'm natural, I am also cosmic and divine, so I try to mix those experiences with a bigger message, or a wider message than just that individual experience. So I try to make it about something more universal.
Is there anything else I haven't asked that you'd like to share?
I do want to share that I'm really excited that I just started putting together a cleanup crew to go up to the mountains and try to do some cleanups. So I've been learning a lot about the whole culture up there, I guess you can say, even what to do and how to go about doing a cleanup and things to consider. And I've been learning that sometimes we have to be aware of, for example, right now, I think a lot of birds are nesting. There's a lot of animals that also are taking care of cubs right now. So I got a pretty cool response from people that saw the post on Instagram and wanted to come and help out. And not everybody's going to be able to come because we have to keep it really small. So I would just like to invite everybody that would like to clean up the forest and do all those things, to clean up the neighborhoods and the parks and wherever we can, and just kind of develop that as a culture and try to look out for the future, because if everything is dirty, if the flowers can't bloom, the bees can't pollinate, we're not going to have any more life, so just for people to get involved, and to everybody that volunteered to come help out, just want to say thank you for that. So.
Thank you so much for the interview.
No, thank you.